Hey everybody, my name is Kubby Kubbernus. My friends call me Kubby, and this is the Kubby Show, where I dive into topics on marketing, business, and social media to give the tools, the tips, and the tactics that you need to grow your business and grow it fast.
Check it.
This is our second episode of the week, and I think it's actually like episode 19 or something like that. We've actually opened up this to do podcasting as well. Yesterday we did an episode about my birthday. It was my birthday yesterday. I turned 35, so go check that out. Sammy, can you link it up somewhere? Here or here? So go check out that. I talk about some life advice. If you're into that, go check that out. And so we're rolling out these. We're going to try to do them daily. I'm not going to promise anything because, if priorities call, if client things come up, we have to deal with that. So, but for now, we're doing this like this. So, but today I wanted to talk to you really quickly about Twitter. Now, Twitter's been getting into a little bit of trouble lately. They've had some failed buy attempts. Nobody seems to want to buy them. They're dropping some partners that they've used. News came out today that they're going to, fire 100 people or so-ish. And my 2 cents on that is that Twitter is still a fantastic platform. I personally really, really love it. It's one of the very first social platforms that I fully got into. I think that there's so much potential there from a social listening standpoint. You can search for things like if you, for example, sell cameras or you sell laptops, you can look at, people out there writing stuff like, tweeting stuff like, damn, I hate my laptop, or man, this is a Lenovo piece of crap. I don't have anything against Lenovo. I think they make great stuff, but you can actually search for things in your products, in your product line, that actually can help you learn a lot about your products, learn a lot about your competitors. So I think it's a fantastic platform, and I actually think that the addition of GIFs and stickers that they've done over the last years, the polls, all of those are great innovations. And I think Twitter, and of course integrating Periscope, live streaming has been great, and I think going live straight into Twitter is also really great. So I'm not worried about Twitter surviving. I think it's going to be a great platform. I think that they are just going to have to continue to innovate, push out more stuff like they have over the past year. They've been, pushing out stuff all the time. So I think that we're going to see that go even further for them. And I think that you can just see that the platform is strong. So I'm not worried about that. But it's a good time to buy Twitter stock. I'll tell you that much. I think that if you buy Twitter stock right now, not that I'm an accredited investment strategist, management person, so you should not listen to me. So don't come to me in a year and say, Kubby, you told me to buy Twitter stock, and now it's worth nothing, and I've lost everything. If that happens, I'm just putting that warning right now. I am not affiliated with any sort of investment management house, and I'm not qualified to give you investment management decision or advice. So that's my thoughts on Twitter cutting. I still think it's going to be strong. I think it's a great platform. Lots of stuff going on there that's cool. So don't count it out yet. And so on this episode, we also have some questions coming in for some people. So let's get to those. So Matt Murder on Twitter asks, Kubby, how do you manage your clients' social accounts when you're not actually in their ecosystem? How do you answer customer questions? Okay, so this is an interesting one because if you're into community management or you're managing social accounts for your clients, you're gonna get requests from customers. You're gonna get comments, you're gonna get messages, direct messages, and unless you know their products, unless you're actually part of their customer service organization, you're not going to be able to answer effectively. So what I typically do with my clients is I tell them I will answer until I can't answer. Now that takes a certain amount of trust, and sort of we have to establish some rules of engagement. When is it appropriate for me to reply? When is it not? And we find that balance. Now, I also, and we also here at Kubby Co, we really focus on understanding the customer's business, understanding their products, and actually getting into their ecosystem. Now, I know that sounds a bit weird, but we go pretty deep into our clients' businesses, so much so that we kind of understand where they're going. On a strategic level, we have NDAs with them, so we understand where they're going and what they're doing so that we can actually better react, because we're living in a real-time world and we need to be able to deliver marketing like that. So that requires that you have a pretty deep relationship with your customers, and that's the best kind of relationship anyway. So Matt, thank you so much for your question and everything on social. Me and you've been hanging out a lot on social, so thank you so much for that. And I hope that answers it. You got to get into their ecosystem. You just got to. It's going to create better customer relationships. You're going to be able to understand their business better, which help you service them better, and set some rules of engagement and some understanding of where you can answer and where you can't, and be able to know where to direct messages when you can't. So Ryan asks, how can marketers report entire campaign results when messaging ends up as dark social or direct traffic? This is a good one, and my philosophy is you can't. Now, I know that's like people are gonna scream at me and be like, what are you talking about? We're living in the age of analytics. We're living in the age where you can actually measure so much in social media and in marketing, and I believe that. We can see so much. But then again, we can't see that much. And by that I mean that you can't measure ROI, and I have an actual video on this as well, measuring ROI. Maybe, Sammy, you want to link up that one as well somewhere. And it basically, I don't believe that we can actually measure ROI down to this post brought in this much money. Now, campaign results don't necessarily need to be measured on ROI, saying, okay, we did this and we ended up with this much money. So he's not asking that. He's actually asking, like, how do you actually measure those things? And there's actually a lot of different tools out there that measure dark social or direct stuff that comes from it. When you copy links, when you get referrals, there are some tools out there that manage it. I personally haven't tried them, so don't ask me. Ask somebody who's really deep into social media analytics or marketing analytics, and they would be able to direct you towards those tools, but I know they exist. And then the other section is like, is that what you want to measure results on? Like, understanding where you want to actually measure your results is probably the first step. Is it going to be, okay, how much traffic did we get from this? That might be a KPI, but I tend to look at the bigger picture a lot of times when it comes to marketing and social media. So it's not so easy. And then also, how long do you want to measure that for? Like a campaign these days, content these days stays on forever, pretty much. And so, how long are you going to actually measure that out for? How many quarters are you going to go back to those analytics, go back to that campaign and say, oh, this is actually producing this now? A lot of marketing departments don't do that. They don't have the resources to do it, and they've moved on the next quarter or the next year. They're not going back to their old campaigns, even though maybe there's some gold coming out of that. So the short answer is I don't think you can to the full extent, but there's a lot of tools out there that can get you a long way. So I recommend getting into those. All right, so that was today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like, share, subscribe, wherever this is. Maybe this is on Facebook. Please like my page. If this is on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel and share this with your marketing and business buddies. Can you say that? And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Adios, amigos.